What is up, everybody? This is ID Machine Co, and we're over at Lock and Key again, sitting with the man, the myth, the legend, Juan fucking Archuleta.
What's up, dude? How you doing? Thanks for having me.
Thank you. Thanks for coming down, man. This is like, so you're super fucking busy all the time. You know, like, we just had a good chat about everything else. Like, we had a lot of good fucking banter back and forth, and now we got to redo it up in here right now. So, you're not right now. Like, you have a fight that's coming out December. Right?
Yeah.
And then, so we don't know exactly where it's going to be yet.
Yeah. So December, we're hoping to lock down Japan. So it's either going to be in the Bellator cage or in the Risen ring.
Gotcha.
So right now we're waiting on to get confirmation on that and for the opponent to accept the fight.
That's gonna be cool, man. Like, hopefully, I can make it down there. Japan, like, how long is the fucking flight?
I think it's like 14 to. It's a mission.
Hey Siri, how long is the flight to Japan from LAX? Like, it's so stupid to have fucking Siri if you have to do that
right? Shit. It's like, why don't you just tell me?
Yeah,
like
it's
11 hours. Damn. At least it's not 18.
Yeah, yes, yeah, right.
But that's if it's a straight flight.
The thing that I like about doing it is, like, if you plan it out, well, because they're gonna pay for you just to go there, right?
Yeah.
So you got to go over there. You're up to like whatever they can get you, right?
Yeah.
Because you couldn't stop like in New York.
No.
And like get into a sauna, lose some weight.
Yeah. I think it's just a straight. Hopefully, it's just a straight flight. That way, I don't have to go through the different pressure cabin timing. You know, 'cause that's what really messes my body up.
Now, do they say that, like, because there's radiation and everything else too? Do you guys, like, the jet lag? Do you guys feel that when you fight too?
Some people do. I feel like the most I feel is just swelling up. Like, I swell up, like all my muscles and shit. It just retains a lot more water, so I'll swell up, and that shit sucks.
Yeah. You're not eating fucking airplane food.
Yeah. And I keep drinking water and hopefully,
sucking up. Yeah. So like, I don't know, because you helped me with my weight cut.
Yeah.
You know, everything too. So I weigh 168 today.
Damn. Hell yeah. Nice. Hell yeah.
So last Saturday I weighed 151.
Yeah.
Like, that was crazy, dude. Like, how, like, the 2 gallons and, like, I don't know what I can say or not say. I don't know
So like how you did the water, it's called like a water load.
Okay.
So some people do it with distilled water, which is kind of bad. Yeah, which is fuck you up. So. And then
they literally do distilled water. It leaches your bones.
Yeah.
Oh,
I mean,
God.
it's not meant for human consumption, that's for sure. But we did it with, you know, good alkaline water and stuff, and so your body was able to push it out and piss it out. So that's what's cool. Rehydrate the body. You never went without not drinking, because some people will start like, okay, I'm 2 weeks out. Sometimes I need to like not drink water, and they'll just kill themselves. You know, deplete themselves of the minerals and all that shit.
I was talking to some of the guys, and they're like, "Well, you need to get down like at the academy." And they're like, "Oh, you need to lose weight. You need to be like, you got to be underweight."
Yeah.
And I was like, I'm fucking fine. Shut up. Like, I'm good. Because it was weird, like, too, because I was like, fuck, I got a lot of weight to lose. And you're like, no, you want to be heavy.
Yeah.
Like, you want to do these things. Like, oh, okay, cool. And I didn't feel that depleted because I was drinking a shit ton of water.
Yeah.
Like,
sometimes it's too much, you know?
Dude, I thought, like, when you told me, I remember I called you, I was like, how much should I have? You're like, 1.25 gallons. This was the week before.
Yeah.
I was like, hey, I thought that was a fucking load.
Yeah.
Like, I was like, oh shit, it was so much fucking water, you know? But then I realized how much I didn't actually drink.
Yeah.
You know, and then it was like, and then you told me fucking 2 gallons on that Monday. And like, I never hated fucking water so much in my life.
Yeah.
Because it was just like nonstop, like just fucking trying to get through it.
Yeah. And then having to piss all the time too.
Yeah, that was a problem. And then I fucked up and remember I told you, I was like, I went to the movies with the kids.
Yeah.
And I had popcorn.
Yeah.
And I thought it was okay with not having like all that fake fucking butter on it.
Yeah.
But salty as fuck. Right?
Yeah.
And I gained like 4 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, and it was so fucking weird, and to being able to go through that and like eating clean and doing all this stuff, and you know, it was nice to kind of see how like my body reacted and moved and all that stuff. Because you guys how much do you guys really drop weight? Like, are you guys like dropping 15 pounds a week off? Like, or?
Yeah, I mean, so we'll come in and like throughout our fight camp, like next week my fight camp starts. So I'll start my actual weight cut starts that day. So I'll start switching my body over to being a fat burner instead of a carb burner. And so by the time the fight comes, I'll be like 90 to 95, almost 100% just burning fat on just walking around. And so that'll turn our body over, and that's when the weight cut starts. But then the last week is just manipulating the water. So.
And then so you go high fats, right? And protein, not a lot of protein, or is it like?
Yeah, you eat a lot of protein. It's like kind of staying away from refined carbs is the main thing, and sugar. Refined carbs and sugars is what you really want to stay away from.
Gotcha. Yeah, I was just eating eggs and steak, and I had some strawberries and everything else, like, because Janae, your wife, she makes everything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So she's all super dialed in.
Yeah.
And, she sent me some of those menus too as well that kind of helped me out.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, okay, this is what I can do. And then I got fucking boring. I was like, I'm only eating this.
Yeah.
It was super easy, but, it worked out well. I got down to the weight. I ended up, winning,
Yeah. It's good.
taking gold.
Hell yeah.
My son was not able to talk shit to me.
Yeah.
He was like, you better win. I won. You have to win.
Yeah.
Like, fuck, okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, it was pretty cool.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That was really cool. It opened my mind just to that, because I've already been because we had met almost about 2 years ago now, and so I was part of the beginning stages of you switching over to Bellator and all that stuff, and seeing you guys and you and TJ and with Cub and it was a whole different level of men.
Yeah.
It was just fun. It's a whole different thing. The camaraderie that you guys have is awesome, But also too, it's just the fucking work that nobody realizes what you guys do, and how much and you guys put into it. I was fucking blown away, and especially when I followed you too at that one Bellator fight when it was like, okay, we're gonna go. You're gonna wake up in the morning, you're gonna do this at 8 o'clock, and you're gonna rest, and then you got 11 o'clock, and then you're gonna come fucking back at 8 o'clock at night, and then you're gonna do a roll at night, and then get in the sauna. It was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I was like, you're never tired.
Yeah, I mean, your body's like an adaptogen. It'll adapt to anything you put it through, right? So when you put it in that high stress, it has to react. Otherwise, it's fight or flight, and that's how you know you're able to do this shit. Otherwise, you just got to go get a job. You're like, fuck that. I'm gonna just go get a job and fucking work for someone else. But when you're the company and the captain of your own ship, then you're like, okay, let me map this shit out. Let me know what the end goal, and then how to accomplish these little goals to get to that end goal. So it takes a team for sure. So if you try to do it on your own, you're gonna fail. The ship's gonna sink.
It's exhausting. Just seeing you have to go through that and everything. It was just oh my god. And that's that was one fucking day. Yeah. That was one day, and you're like, oh, I'll lose 14 pounds right now. And the fucking day, I was like, what the fuck is going on? Just so much conditioning and everything else. And like you said, you're well oiled and just ready for fucking warfare, and just a machine to be able to put all that stuff out. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah, that's what's kind of cool too. I kind of for these next couple of fights, I'm probably gonna try to record and do a documentary of what an actual professional weight cut looks like. Because we have the story of people the dramatic, the people not making weight, the people going to the extreme and not looking like a professional, and then making it cinematic and very oh, I feel so sorry for this guy. When really that's 5% of the people that don't know what the hell, that are not professionals,
Right.
And then when you have a professional weight cut, people are able to see that. That's what people need to see, because they need to see the like you said, the scheduling. This is a professional. This is more than a 9 to 5. This is a wake up, the sun up to sun down type.
Watch your sodium. Don't eat fucking popcorn. All these extra things. And I lost 14 pounds in a week.
Yeah.
That's a fucking lot.
And then plus all the water you drink. Each gallon's a pound, right? So you drink 2.
So each gallon is
8 pounds. I'm sorry. Yeah, each gallon is 8 pounds. That's what I meant. And then so you start off at 2.5, 2, a gallon and a quarter, a gallon and a half, and then a gallon, and then a quarter gallon. So you add all that up, that's a.
No, I was when you told me 2 gallons, I was like, okay, cool. And then I did how much is it actually? I went through 16 and a half pounds or more of fucking water.
Yeah.
It was crazy, and I never really weighed that much.
Yeah.
And I remember it's I would go in. You're you gotta get on the fucking bike. I was like, so I had to go ride for an hour, and then I got fucked because I wore that sauna suit.
Yeah.
And it was cold outside.
Oh shit.
And I didn't sweat at all. I rode around for a fucking hour, and I lost 0.2 pounds.
Yeah.
I was so pissed, just out loud. I was like, fuck!
Yeah.
So I had to go in, I jumped in the sauna and did all that stuff. Like, it was crazy, but there's an amazing amount of fucking water that you have to drink in, and pounds and everything else. Like, it was cool. But it's definitely one of those things of like, you see these guys like super, like, almost atrophying when they're going into weigh-in because they're not doing it the right way. Or they like fucked up.
Yeah.
You know, and they like didn't take it super seriously.
Yeah.
You know, because like even at me, I was able to get down to 14 pounds, and I'm nowhere near like professional level of like my body even going like, oh, it's time to go.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And we were able to get down, and I never felt bad.
Yeah.
You know, so I think showing that and like you being in my ear, like, did you weigh yourself? Did you do this, do that? Like, give people an idea that you can do it successfully and healthy and all those things too as well, instead of just like seeing the guys where they're half dead.
Yeah, I mean it's horrible when you see that. You know, it almost makes you cringe. You know, you're just like, like that's not what our sport is. You know, that's not what 90% of the athletes look like. You know, so well, you know, we've done it with like so. For instance, you've done it. We've done it with other actors and like high school kids, where you know we're trying to revolutionize the sport of weight cutting, like with wrestling, boxing, MMA, all combative sports that have to make a certain weight limit. Like, it's not just go kill yourself to make this weight and then try to recover to fight, you know, because you leave so much in the weight cut that, you know, it definitely makes a difference.
Well, I did feel like in my third round, I was fucking tired of shit.
Yeah.
So I like, but a lot of that's adrenaline and everything else. So
first time competing in a long time, you know.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. I kind of treated it like a baseball type thing, where it's like, okay, it's bottom of the fucking ninth, bases loaded, 2 outs. Like, I gotta get this fucking bunt down. I gotta get this guy scoring. So I was able to relax. But yeah, I was surprised that I wasn't that nervous.
Yeah.
When I got on there, it was like, and we did the fucking handshake thing. I was like, fuck, this guy's grip is hard.
Yeah. It's the little things like that that make a difference, like in a fight too.
Yeah. I remember Hector too. He was just like, I told him like, dude, this guy's fucking strong. And Hector's like, shut the fuck up. You're just as strong. He's over there complaining about how strong you are. I was like, okay. Like, just kind of woke up and everything. And it was pretty fucking cool. The whole thing was pretty fucking cool. And like the real reason too of why I did it is just like seeing what you guys are doing too. And being friends with Hector. And I remember going like, fuck, like I really need to start like trying to figure that out. So, like you guys definitely like a part of being my friends and everything else, like, you know, and being able to hang out and see what you guys do, like, you guys really did change my life.
Yeah, like, it's inspiration, you know, and that's what's cool, like, people don't understand, like, the experience, you know, that's why there's sometimes I've been with TJ and Cub, like, even my last loss, just being with Cub, he, you know, coming off a four fight losing streak, you know, I lose one of the biggest fights of my life, and he's like, hey man, it could always be worth it, or it could always be worse, you know. I've lost 4 in a row. I'm facing, you know, possible getting fired off my job. You know, I've never been in a title fight. You got to experience a 5-round title fight. You know, so it definitely being around different atmosphere makes you get you more inspired and refocuses your goals and resets it.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, and seeing all that stuff and seeing how you guys like bounce back and do all those things, like it is super inspirational. And I think like it's been so, like you said, like dramatized, like on Netflix and everything else that you see is like, I think people are using it as entertainment instead of like really going, no, this is a fucking real human being going through all this shit. I think there is some like loss of intimacy for sure, but you do a good job of like talking and like going on Instagram and having fun with shit and everything else and like opening up to people. But I mean, I think a lot of times people don't understand that it's somebody really going through all this extra bullshit. It's crazy. So like so you have that fight, like, and then you're going into December now. You know, and you have the loss and coming back. Like, are you going? Do you know what weight class? Because like you're fucking all over. Did you fight? You fought four different weight classes and won them all.
Won all titles and all different titles.
Yeah, and that was 135,
135, 145, 155, and 160. Okay. And then it was all different orders too. I felt like the first fight was 160, then it was 145. Then it was 155, and then it was down to 135, and then I defended them in different styles too, so or different kind of opportunities.
Yeah, it's like when you told me that, I was like, what the fuck? What the fuck? And so, do you know what fight this is going to be at yet?
This next fight is probably going to be at 145. That's what we're looking at. Yeah, because you know, we're trying to make some we're trying to make some leeway to spark back the interest, you know, of like people wanting to keep seeing me fight, you know, and that's amazing. When you lose, you gotta get your shit together and say, okay, that's an experience. I gotta learn from it, grow, and get myself back in the win column so I can put myself back in picture for the title fight.
Right.
Which is very capable because, you know, I just lost to a double champ, you know, which is very unfortunate, but, you know, now I go and get a win. Now I can fight for the 135 title. So that's the main thing, you know.
Just dominoes right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're falling in place and everything else. You just got to, one, stay healthy, you know, two, be smart, you know, by training right and doing everything else that you guys already fucking do. So
yeah.
Machines. But yeah, like going down like to the and trying to get that 135 one, and then you could then be a double champ too as well.
Yeah, right away. Even possibly going there and be a triple champ is the ultimate goal, but. Like I said, the goals up here, accomplish the little goals to get there, which is winning this next fight in Japan and getting a new fan base out there too.
Yeah.
Like I heard they had some crazy bars out there. Like this is an awesome bar, right? And then you go in there, they have like a cat bar, they have an owl bar.
They have the fucking toilet thing too, don't they?
Yeah,
like a restaurant out there that's like toilets.
Yeah. And then they have like a robot bar, and then there's a bar like it's called the maid bar where like they call you like yes master, and they like serve you in like these maid outfits.
So they take like the experience to the fucking next level.
Yeah, Tokyo, and it's in Tokyo, so yeah, Tokyo is gonna be fun. Like going to different bars and checking out different areas, you know, and then too, after the fight, what I really want to do is get into the cultural scene of Japan as well. You know, I mean, that's where MMA started. That's where all the, you know, Bruce Lee's and the Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, all the stuff that gets filmed out there. I mean, that's the heart of martial arts is Japan, you know? And so going out there, experiencing that all is going to be awesome.
Yeah, I like I said, I hope to be able to go out there just because, like, one, it looks crazy, especially when they fucking walk across the street. Nobody fucking, like, it's all fucking, it just looks fucking awesome.
Yeah.
Like getting on the subway and seeing all this stuff, and just seeing, like, I want to see what their cell phones fucking look like.
I know,
Because, like,
right?
supposedly they're like 10 years ahead of us or whatever.
Yeah.
So I want to see like what's over there, how the food scene is, and you know maybe we do meet somebody over there. We do LKSD.
Yeah.
Tokyo.
Hell yeah.
That would be fucking awesome.
Yeah, well, they got all the Japanese Wagyu and all that, and the Kobe, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's like the heartland.
And we don't get the cool shit over here because they only do A5, like, but they have A10, they have all those extra things. You know, like it gets fucking crazy, and like, because you've had the Wagyu here when you had it.
Yeah.
So like for Wagyu, it's you know so there's Wagyu and then there's Kobe, and like Kobe is like American, and then you have Australian Wagyu too, and so. Somebody, like, the only reason why we have it in America is because somebody fucking jerked one off and, like, put it in their pocket and brought it over here.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's the only reason why, because it was still, like, they don't allow their fucking shit outside. So somebody smuggled fucking, like,
semen?
Yeah, Volcom out here. all the way down here, whether, like, I don't know if they put it in a fucking balloon and swell, I don't know. Like, I don't know. But some brave individual
some
fucking
bestiality.
did some
Some bestiality and got it done.
Yeah, it's like, I don't know how they did it, but somebody did it, and we have the fruits of their labor to be able to try it here in fucking America, so that's cool.
I wonder, like, what grade that bull was.
We'll never know.
That they jerked off.
We'll never know. I'd hope to never fucking know what the grade of it was. But yeah, it's like, there's some crazy shit that happens here. Like, so what's like, so you guys, you had, like, we had the party here and everything, like, that night, like, you know, it was tough, but looking at that fight and everything too, like, he goes and knocks the fucking people out.
Yeah, puts him away.
And you survived and took a lot of it, like, a lot of his, like, he never, like, he did hit you hard, like, but he never really got you hard, though.
And that's like, so, that's a good thing about me, like, in my fighting style and even my wrestling style, like, every time I went out there and wrestled and people that just looked like fucking brick houses, people were like, was he strong? And I was like, I don't know. I just like, because I was able to stay away from their strength, you know, like I moved so much that I was able to stay away from people's strength in wrestling. It's kind of like fighting, like I move so much, I'm able to move with the punches that I never really get connected on the right spot, you know, so, but he was strong, you know, I mean, just a different center mass than I was training with, but, you know, this whole camp I was ready, you know, and got thrown a curveball the last hour before my fight, and it fucking sucked, but had to refocus. And after the loss, it's tough dealing with losses, especially that high of caliber. Like, some people, they were just like, oh, I don't want to go to my after party and stuff. But at the end of the day, I sat in the locker room, I cried about it, I screamed about it, and I left it in the locker room. Left it all out there. And then, you got to let your fans know that since they're there for you, you got to be there for them as well. You got to go through with things that you don't want to go through it with because of your feelings and the depression and I guess the insecurities that come with losing, right? I mean, all the insecurities of losing, because so many people like hope and wish that you win, and you're like, yeah, me too. And then the work you're putting in, you're like, I'm going to win this fight, And then when you lose, and it's almost embarrassing, But then when you lose, you got to face the music, so to speak, But and the bullying that comes with it. But if you face it like a man and you go out there and you accept the loss and you move forward and you learn from it, I feel like I didn't lose, No, and you got more lessons than you did winning,
Right. Yeah, you never lose, you learn type things, and that's why it's an awesome example for the kids and everything else, like being able to pick yourself up and dust off, all right, let's go.
Yeah.
It's fucking cool, man.
Yeah. I mean, it is for sure the hardest thing to do, and still it gets me emotional thinking about the loss and how I could be a world champ right now, but that's what drives the fire for me to go to the gym the next day, for me to make sure I'm doing the right things this day and that day to be a world champion.
Right. Yeah, and then so you guys go over, you assess and look at some different things, and I remember sitting down the day before, and you guys, and rolling with you guys, and thank you for that too, because I learned a lot just watching you guys and hearing you guys talk, and the way that you guys were talking about technique and this and that, I was like, the fuck, everybody just thinks you guys are going out there and fighting.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, it's just fucking.
Yeah. Why don't you stand there?
Just stand there.
Yeah.
And it's fucking so far from that.
Yeah.
Being able to see how you guys dissect it was just amazing to me.
So the craziest thing about that, right? So when you talk about it, you try to see it and stuff, but when you're in the ring, it's crazy the different flashbacks you have when you're in there. Yeah, because I watch so much film on Patricio, right? That when you're watching film and you're going out there and you see his movements and the people he's knocked out before you, you're like, okay, you envision it, and you're like, okay, I don't want to be put in that spot. And then when you actually go to throw a jab and he hops back and get ready to throw something you see him knock someone out with, now you're faced with that, that wall, oh shit, I can't do that. Right. So it backs you up, and that's why you can't just go forward, because you see patterns that he's had success with, and it kind of makes you okay, I want to jump back and reset myself and find a new way.
Right. Yeah, it's just that whole thing, leading up to that, because that was the real first time that I hear you guys talk about technique and those things, because I've been around you guys practicing, but that was the first one where I sit down with you guys go.
Excuse the way we're.
We're busy.
It's a good Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Cheers, guys, to the Marc.
Thank you, sir.
You want to
Yeah.
But it was just crazy just to hear you guys diagnose and break down the fight, because I've always been a fan of watching
MMA
stuff.
Yeah.
But when you start hearing the stuff that you don't get to see or be a part of, and how you guys break shit down was just fucking next level, and that changed me with talking to my professor over here at the academy, going oh shit, I gotta fucking break this down.
Yeah.
The best thing that happened to me was when I almost tore my knee off back in February.
Yeah.
Because it slowed me the fuck down.
Yeah.
It made me analyze stuff instead of just trying to be
Yeah.
It's never you can't be like that.
Yeah.
You can't be like that at all. Just to hear you guys do that was fucking cool.
Well, and that's when you're able to talk about it, just business, for instance, when you're able to express and have a good conversation about something, it makes you that much more of a professional and gets you set up for the overall view instead of being one track mind, okay, I gotta stay offensive, I gotta go forward, well, what about this if this happens? And then you're oh shit, I didn't think about that, So when you have a team of guys that know every outcome, that's what makes the difference.
Yeah, it's an amazing. It was just crazy. It's a monkey see, monkey do. It's like, oh shit, I didn't even know that was fucking possible.
Yeah.
I didn't know that was the way they kind of look at that. The same thing that we do here is like, we'll even sit down and talk shit about the restaurant. You've heard me talk shit about like my own place. So it's like, I don't like this, I don't like that, and then we try to fix it and do it. And to see that in the fight world, I don't think a lot of people even really understand. They don't understand it at all.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take a quick break to the stupid fucking DSLR. We're gonna press stop and start back up again. We'll be right back. So we're back. So you have that. The training starts right next week. You said.
Well, the full camp will start next week, where I gotta start eating proper and switch my body back over. Because after a fight, you see all this on Instagram, and you see all the good food and all the experimental menus that people make, and you're just like, I gotta try that after the fight, So you go and you enjoy yourself a little bit, and then it takes about a couple of weeks for your body to change back over when you're training that hard. And honestly, that's what I like about fights. Because a lot of people are always like, there's no healthy way to do a weight cut, And it's like, well, there is, like weight cutting is so horrible for you, but it actually serves as a detox, Like by the time I fight, I'm more healthier on that day than I was when I was born, It's just like, because you're able to clean out all the heavy metal toxins, the environmental toxins, the shitty food you eat, and it's just like,
yeah, I felt
you
great.
have a whole cleanse.
Yeah, I felt great. This is all fucking awesome. Like, how do you feel about for this? People bitch about these things because it doesn't look like calamari, but this is an actual steak.
Yeah.
So we'll get the steak, we'll cut it, and then roll it out, and then cut it into fries. Yeah. Do you like the tentacle?
Oh yeah, I actually like the steak from the calamari. That's what people don't understand. They're like, oh, we need the tentacles and stuff. It's like, dude, that's the bottom end of the calamari. You want the heart of the steak, just like the filet mignon. This is like the filet of the calamari.
Yeah, the squid. Yeah, for sure. But people bitch about this all the time. That's the same. People just want to fucking talk, be in your ear about stupid shit. So I wanted to see what you felt about this, just because this was the best part.
Yeah.
So we took that out, but people are like, this isn't calamari. I was like, fuck you, it is.
Yeah.
It's the best part.
So I'm Spanish, and they do a lot with paella, seafood, and things like that. And this is all they serve out there is the steak of the calamari,
Yeah, and you went out there after in
January.
And then and you did a couple seminars and everything else, and that's when you had your fucking knee, right?
Yeah, when I blew out my knee. So, I was gonna go November, actually next week, but the signing of this new fight, it was just gonna be too much. So again, I moved it back to probably January. That I'll be back out there doing seminars and after this fight. So,
I think I'll go to Japan and then go out after.
Yeah, I think not right after, probably a week, come home, see the kids and stuff, because I don't know if I'm gonna take them to Japan with me, but so I'll come back, hang out with my family, celebrate the win, come to LKSD and have some more calamari fries, and then get on my way.
Here we go, man. There we are. The mats. We actually got an extra patty.
Nice.
Just to bulk up?
Yeah, it's cheap season right now, so that kind of
Oh yeah.
load up real quick. Enjoy, guys.
It looks amazing. Thanks.
You got some fries or anything?
You want fries? Super good.
These are perfect for me.
Yeah, no, this is good, yeah. Awesome. So we'll cut it just have at it.
So what is this called?
So this is the mess burger. This is kind of like the hot Cheeto kind of nostalgic thing that we had here. So the reason why we deal with or use the hot Cheetos still is because when I was in high school, all the girls ate fucking hot Cheetos. They ate hot Cheetos and cream cheese or nacho cheese or these other things. So I wanted one, without a bar, you have to have women in here.
Yeah.
Sure. So I wanted that kind of that nostalgic kind of feeling. When they saw something oh, that's fun. So it already hopefully kind of pulls you back to being younger and having fun and instead of worrying about your little salad that you have to eat.
Yeah.
I want that little thing for the girl to be oh shit, I want to kind of I want to let loose a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that's the reason why we do it.
When I was in junior high, they used to have these little pizza rolls, and I would shove hot Cheetos in them, and then I would eat it with the pizza rolls. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm not a big fan of fucking hot Cheetos,
No?
but this together, all mixed together, is pretty fucking good.
Yeah.
Like, it's super fucking good. So we'll get in here, we'll cut it all up. And so you're gonna go, so you have the fight, you have this going on. What's up with your, did you get that Corvette?
Oh yeah,
Like,
so the Corvette.
We haven't talked about that in a while.
Yeah, so I got a, what is it, an 84, I think, Corvette. My aunt gave it to me, actually. Right before she passed, my great aunt, she was like, hey, it's just sitting in the garage. Do you want to take it? I was like, I don't know. She was like, if someone took it, I'd rather it be you. I was like, all right. So she gave it to me.
And they're still.
And I went to go get a restoration, yeah, but so it only had like 27,000 miles on it.
Okay.
And so I was like, all right, let me go get it like detailed in a little bit, but there's a little more things going wrong with it than I thought.
Right.
So
it's always it's like fucking remodeling a house.
Yeah.
It's like,
so, but it's almost done. The interior's getting done now. They went through the engine, found out all the problems with it. So right now it's getting rebuilt, and it's gonna look badass.
yeah. And you see it red, right?
Yeah, red. It's like a matte red.
So I always like that. The old Corvettes like that, the sexiness of it. Because it's the one that's still round, right? I'm like the complete opposite of a dude when it comes to like cars. I don't give a shit.
Yeah.
I know when they look cool. You know? But yeah,
So it was the last year they made the long hood.
Gotcha.
So it looked like a Stingray. It was a couple years after, but it was the last year they made these, and it has a T-top on it, so it's badass.
Yeah, it's gonna be cool when it's all fucking done. You know, you can drive right around.
Yeah.
And then so we talked about, so you have 3 kids, right?
Yeah. 3 little angels.
Right. Well, I would
Angel
say
demons.
we have 2 because I have girl, boy, girl,
Yeah.
and you went boy, girl, boy,
Yeah.
right?
Boy, girl, boy.
So like for me, since I have 2 girls, I always say like I have 2 solutions, 1 problem. You know, but how does it work with like having to fight, do all these things? Like do they understand what's going on and everything? I mean, you take them pretty much almost everywhere.
Yeah, that's what's cool about my family. Like when we were younger, my dad, he loved combat sports, so we watched boxing all the time, and wrestling. We grew up wrestling, and so we were always like combats. And my little sister was always watching us and cheering us on, and my dad never held it away from what we actually do, you know, which was wrestling. And so I felt like my kids, the same thing. They need to know why, or you know. So my dad would go to work all the time, and he would take us with him on weekends to learn that, look, I'm not just gone just to be gone.
Right.
I'm gone because I'm working hard, you know. Like he was in the construction field, so at the age of like 6, 7 years old, I was in there like cleaning out forms, like cleaning the wood and everything, you know, from the concrete, shoveling concrete. So same thing with my kids. I need to show them. I bring them to practice with me. I don't keep them in the dark and away from fighting, you know, because they need to know why I'm gone at certain times. They need to know what I do as a living, and so they can respect it, you know, which they do. They love it too, you know.
Like get to watch it. It's really cool to be able to see. Like, I mean, fuck, it's fun for me going in and watching it. I can imagine being like this big and like seeing all this shit going crazy, you know.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. Like, it's funny because you know, when you had Maverick go over there and roll, you know,
Yeah, the open workouts.
The open workout, that was really cool. He loved it, and then like that set up a little bit of a like light switch for him too, because he did like I said, like nobody really knows what it feels like. Then all of a sudden he's up there at 5 years old on the top of the Viacom building, you know, rolling around with a professional MMA fighter.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, pictures, and he was like, "Oh, I want to travel the world, and I want to do these things." Like, cool. Like, so I just wanted to like something, you know. So right now he's in jiu-jitsu and rolling around. He's doing pretty good at it. He's definitely way more athletic than I am.
Yeah, sure. Well, that's what's good about breeding, right? You get the best out of both, and then you put them through the test and make the best out of both of them, you know? That's what's cool about my kids. Like, my wife's very competitive, like I am, and you know, she understands the journey and the experience of being an athlete. You know, she plays soccer herself, so she understands the competition
Aspect
of all sports. And so our kids see that, and they go out there and they try to compete at everything they do. You know, they want to be better than each other.
Right. Yeah, I remember like the Maverick and Ziggy were kind of talking, going back and forth, and they're like, oh, everything was a fucking competition. Like, so he doesn't have like the little brother or anything too. So like he was like, oh, I'm fucking like super jazzed because you know my daughters are super competitive too with him, but it's kind of not the same thing.
Yeah.
You have like when you're able to like tackle each other and run around, like do all this stuff, which is super important.
Yeah.
Like, so like you obviously you know roll around with Zeke and everybody else. Like,
That's right, yeah.
like how important do you think like it is to do that with your kids? Because I like there was a lot of people that were like, oh my god, your kids are in jiu-jitsu and they're learning how to choke people out and doing this and doing that, but like they don't understand the discipline to go say like, yeah, he knows how to do these things, but he's learning not to do those things.
Yeah.
Like we don't like it when people are in our fucking personal space,
Right.
And, you know, like or even 5 feet from us, or fucking saying some stupid ass comment on Instagram. We get all fucking tight. But you know, I think it's super important to be able to these kids to be able to grow up like one having people in their fucking face, having to breathe and relax and control themselves so that they become better. You know, hopefully better than we were. You know, but how important do you think it is for kids to be able to like go out there and we're not saying that fighting is okay. But how important do you think that is for like kids nowadays to be able to like do that?
Yeah, I mean, the way I see it right now, the number one babysitting to all kids right now is either TV or a game console, right? I mean, parents are like, just go in your room and watch your TV or just go play your Xbox or something, you know? And it's just like, so they're playing this Xbox and they're seeing like how to kill people, how to do this and how to do this, you know? But, so that's the only outlet is like, to this video game that's killing things, you know? I think it's super important to put your kid in the sport because that's what gives them their outlet, you know, when they're all riled up, you know, they haven't exerted themselves in anything. Like, it doesn't even need to be fighting, like you said. It's like track and field. When a kid goes out there and sprints as hard as he can for the 100-meter race or the 400-meter race, they're exerting themselves. You know, they're getting all that adrenaline out. They're getting what they call ADHD out of them. You know, like. Yeah, and everyone has ADHD when you're wound up and fucking stuck in a room playing a video game. Of course you're gonna throw shit at a fucking wall. You know, you're like, I just want to punch something. It's in our DNA. You know, it's in our blood to kill stuff. You know, hunter gatherers. You know, we had to kill our own food. We didn't have processing centers like we do now. Like, still to this day, people kill stuff in order to eat. You know, we just have professionals that do it for us. You know, so
exactly.
So now they can't have that release. So sports in general just give that release for people.
I think people need to learn to fucking lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like,
it's
like,
agreed. Like the Democrats, for instance.
Right? Just gotta learn a little bit. But I just think it's one of those things that like the kids right now, from what I see, is they don't know how to fucking handle a loss or don't know how to handle it. I think it's important for like to be able to like be tested. To be able to be like, yeah, you're not like okay, I love you and everything else, but like you're not that fucking good yet. Like, chill the fuck out. Like it's the same thing for us. Like I'm just not in that fight world, but like trying to better myself and really like trying to be a better person every day.
Right.
You know, in this business because this is fucking cutthroat too. You know, but trying to figure out, be the brand, talk, do all this stuff, you know, and try to stay relevant.
Well, that was the biggest like release for my loss, right? Like I've only been fighting for probably like 5-6 years now, and I was fighting a guy that's been fighting for 11 years, 12 years. He's been fighting for a long time, right?
Title fights.
Yeah. And so I lose, and I learn how to deal with that loss. You know, I realize, like you said, I'm not that fucking good yet. You know, I'm not where I want to be yet. So how do I handle that? I go back in training and keep training to get that good, to be the best, to to keep putting in the hard work because you're not. No one's gonna hand you over a championship, right?
Yeah.
You got to go out there and you got to earn it, you know, and you got to put in the time to earn it. So
yeah, that's the thing. Like, oh, it must be nice, or like,
yeah. Oh, he's just really gifted and athletic. Like, no, I was fat when I was a kid, and I get fat out of camp because I love eating. But you know, you work for your athleticism. You work to be strong. You work to have cardio. You work to be the best. You know?
Right. Yeah. That's what we were talking about. Just like doing pull-ups the other day, and like now, you know, that thing to go out to Las Vegas and hang. Like, we're gonna have to take Maverick down there for sure because that little guy, he beat me hanging, but then he does eight fucking chin-ups strict, like all the way down because he doesn't know better too.
Yeah.
He's doing like this fucking like trying to kick and everything else too. So yeah, I think like for the kids, getting kind of back on it, like I just think it's super important for like be able to like understand, and it's cool to be able to like watch your kids like play around and know like, oh, if I do this, I'm gonna hurt somebody.
Yeah.
And not go to that point too. They'll be able to dial it down, or like my Maverick will roll with Hunter, who's like 3.5 years old, his little sister, but they still roll around, you know, like, and he's being mindful of like, okay, I can't do this, I can't do that. So it's cool. I think it's really important for the kids, for sure.
See, my kids are opposites. They see my daughter and my youngest, they're like a year apart, so they hit each other as hard as they can. They don't realize the repercussions. They're like, oh, I'm just gonna sock her in the back of the head as hard as I can. And she's like, oh,
right. And it's always like
my daughter's like, oh, he wants to take my toy, now I'm going to throw it at his head as hard as I can.
Dude.
And I'm like, hey, you can't do that, you know?
And your daughter's so funny.
Yeah.
She's got so much little sass in that, so much sass in that little tiny body.
Oh, yeah.
And like so bendy. Like we were talking earlier, like I picked her up, she like folded it in half.
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
Yeah, like a piece of
and
paper.
she's like, look, I can do this. I was like, oh my god. Like, nobody warned me. There was no like, oh fucking hey, she's like really flexible, watch out.
Yeah.
But it was like immediately, it's like, oh my, like I literally thought like everything shut down and be like, oh what the fuck? Like I thought she broke her back, but she was like boom. And then got up, like walked away. I was like, oh my fucking god. Like, and then I looked at Janae and she's like, oh yeah, well like we do that. I was like, fuck. Like it warned fucking
warn
somebody,
me.
you know, like
yeah, what the hell?
yeah, because we started rolling and all of a sudden it's like, like oh no.
Yeah, it's a trip.
Yeah, super crazy.
Yeah, being a parent for sure doesn't come with instructions.
No, not at all.
No matter what people tell you, it gets worse. Like, oh yeah, it's just like birth. Like, don't worry, it just comes out of the vagina and you see it. And you're like, oh my god. So
I'm not doing that again.
the craziest thing I experienced was actually childbirth. My last kid, like we were there and my wife was telling the nurse like, the baby's coming. They're like, oh, you're only so many centimeters dilated, like don't worry about it. And she's like, no, it's coming. Like you don't understand.
Right here.
And so she lifts up the sheet and she sees the baby's head and she covers it. And I'm like, yo, what are you doing? And I throw the cover back. I was like, by you covering the head doesn't mean it's gonna go away. Like, so she's like freaking out. I'm like, oh shit. And like, then Ezekiel's head comes out. And he's like, ah. And I'm the only one holding it. And I'm like, yo, give me that little fucking suction thing. Give me that thing. And I'm like trying to like pull him out. And like almost had to deliver the baby, and then the doctor comes in and pushes me out of the way, and I'm freaking out. I'm like, oh, fucking I got blood and shit all over me. I'm like, oh my god. I'm like wiping my face, and I got blood on my face. I'm like, oh god. Now I'm like almost passing out, and the nurse is back there like, oh my god, yeah, what happened? And I'm like,
that's a fucking story, and that's a fucking
I mean, that's what I mean by being a father definitely doesn't, whatever anyone tells you, it's 10 times worse.
I go and tell everybody that. I was like, okay, you got this nice, precious little baby, and nobody tells you this. You're looking at it, and you just want to sometimes just throw them up against a fucking wall. And like at that time too, when you tell parents that, they're like, oh my god, or new parents that are going to be parents, like, oh my god, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, no, it's okay. This is just one of those times where you heard somebody say something.
Yeah.
You're normal for feeling like that because you're overly anxious and or like we deal with people like this.
Yeah.
We talk talk shit out. Now you have somebody with you that you're like talking to. They don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like their stomach hurts or whatever else. Like you're gonna get like weirded out. And at that time, laugh like, oh, this is what Marc said. I really wanted to kill my kid.
Yeah.
Lay the baby down and walk away,
Yeah.
and then you are talking, hey, I need a break or whatever else. But it's like the same thing. Like we haven't have you gone skydiving?
No, fuck no.
But you're gonna go. We'll make that happen. So I've jumped almost 60 times. So I have my license, everything else. I jump by myself. But I always tell everybody, like, their first time going into it, it's like there's gonna be a point in time, about 22 seconds, where you're gonna forget to fucking breathe. You're gonna forget to fucking breathe, and it's gonna be super fucking hard. Just laugh, like, oh, this is what Marc said. Pick your chin up and just breathe. Because nobody says that. Everybody's like, you guys ready to go? Fucking out the door. And like you're fucking drowning with no water. Like, you're trying to breathe. So like it's one of those things that having a child and doing all this stuff is exactly like that too. It's like there should be, as soon as you say I'm a parent, then you should have to go pass a fucking test.
Yeah.
And there should be like developmental shit too, where you have to go and understand like how to talk to kids. Understand that a 3-year-old like
It's gonna boss you around.
It's gonna boss you around for sure. Yeah, it's gonna run everything about you. But also that a 3-year-old doesn't have the capacity to be able to like understand that you have your own thoughts.
Yeah.
And like, why are you doing that? Well, they don't.
Yeah.
I don't understand why you did this. Well, because they don't fucking know anything. You know, like, and I don't think a lot of people do that. Like, I was reading where we spend the first 3 years or first 4 years trying to get them to talk, and then we spend the rest of our lives telling them to shut the fuck up. You know, like it's definitely one of those things where, like,
yeah, I'm tired of hearing you talk.
Exactly. Yeah, you just need to have an understanding of what their little brains are doing and how you have to interact with them. And, like 3 kids in, you're just now starting. Like, I'm just now like learning all that shit. Like, oh, this is different. Like, I remember when I acted like that. You know, it was fucking super crazy. But you definitely have to be. You have to have some classes or read a fucking book about it for sure. Because kids are fucking. It's gnarly. It's fucking super.
Yeah, I mean, because you always think about them being a baby, right? Now my oldest is 9 years old, and I still think like, oh, he doesn't understand what I'm doing still, or he doesn't understand like, okay, I'm gonna do a podcast, and then he's like, oh, okay, cool, and then he's like, oh, I heard your podcast, and you're like, wait, what? What do you mean you heard my? And then it just like registers like, damn, he could pick up and look and research himself on what Dad's doing, or he'll show me an old picture, and I'm like, where'd you get that? He's like, oh, I got it on the internet, and you're just like, holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
they're fucking smart. They're super smart. Like Peyton said, oh, hey, I Googled you the other day.
Yeah.
Like, what'd you find out? It's like, oh, like, you saw the burger that you light on fire and all this other stuff. So like, yeah, they're little fucking conniving little evil geniuses.
Yeah. And that's the thing, like, you can't really keep your kids, if you expect the honesty out of your kids, then you got to be honest with them too, you know, and that's one thing that I'm glad my wife does, because like, for me, like, my dad was always like, look at, when I was in 4th grade, he's like, look, you're going to have to make your own way, you're going to have to get your own scholarship, you're going to have to train your own time, like, I did this for your brothers, and they say I pushed them too hard, so now it's up to you, like, whatever you want to do, like, just be good at it, I'm going to support it, yeah, and just give it your all. And so, from a kid, I mean, from fourth grade, I was like, okay, like, I want to wrestle. I want to do this. I want to have his attention, because you're one of 7, right? I mean, so you don't really get attention too much with being a kid from your parents when you're one of 7. You know, you're just like, well, I'm at the end of the road, so you know, I'm pretty much roadkill. You know, I'm getting my brother's clothes that were hand-me-downs. You know, but. So when you come from that, you just start realizing like, okay, I don't want to have my kids in the dark. You know, I want them to know, because they're gonna find out one way or another. You know, and that's when, you know.
Yeah, they're seeing the most real thing that you're doing too, as well, is like being able to go out there, being able to fight for your family, for everything else, you know, and being able to love them and show them the right and wrong ways and everything, you know, and still hate and love them at the same time. To see all that, to see how you guys interact, like all of the fighters, that is, you know, with you, with Cub, with TJ, and everybody, how you see that interaction with their kids is fucking awesome. You see a lot of people where they're just like, go watch this, go do that, and it's like, when you guys see you guys fucking around and you know, doing all of your guys' stuff, and you guys, it is what it is. But yeah, man. So like, what else do you have? Like, what's the next thing? So you have the fight. You have this. It starts next week. Like, can you break down how, like, what's your transition or what your fight camp like looks like?
So the next thing for us right now is we just got a new gym. We were in between gyms right now because our last gym, our lease went up, and the ladies' company was expanding and getting bigger. So which is always a good thing for someone, right? So. They needed the other side of the building that we were leasing out, and so these last like year and a half, we've been in between gyms, trying to find a new gym, and then we finally got a place. So right now, it's being built out. It's being renovated and like making it look professional. Because and that's the training lab with Sam Calavita. We got a lot of recovery, a lot of health science going on there as far as the MMA squad and the strength and conditioning we got going on. So right now, probably open in the middle of November is when I'm hoping everything will be solidified, done, and then that will get me 100% geared towards my fight. But right now we're just remodeling, having a home base, stop being in between gyms because I ultimately moved from Orange County, from San Bernardino County, which was in the high desert, all the way down to Orange County because I was driving so much. But now that we got a full team together, and it came about in a very strange way. Like our team was built by my relationships, and it was crazy because I was training so much in the beginning with the best out there in the world. I tracked down who was the best at that time and currently to train with. When I started training MMA, I was with Joe Daddy Stevenson because he was the best in our area that we had. And then he directed me down to Cub Swanson. And Cub Swanson, I started training with him, and we got a relationship going, trusted each other, and knew that we were going to be good teammates together. So I started training with him, and once he fell out of the camp, I was like, okay, who do I need to train with now? Like, he has recovery time he needs. Sometimes he'd break a hand, break his jaw,
His last one too.
Yeah, so he'd have injuries that he had to pull back on because he just fights his heart out every time.
Right.
And so I found Alpha Male, and I was going out there and training with Alpha Male because I knew a lot of the guys. Yeah, and I met with, I knew a lot of the guys because I wrestled with them. I grew up wrestling with them. And then TJ moved to Colorado. And then at that time, I was training with Joe Benavidez as well. And we went out to Colorado, training with TJ. And then TJ was on the Ultimate Fighter. And then he was like, hey, you want to be my wrestling coach on there? Because I need a training partner as well. So we were training together. And that's how I introduced him to Sam Calavita. And then he wanted to do a camp out in Orange County. I was like, perfect. I was like, hey, Cub will probably be a good sparring partner for Cody because he was getting ready to fight Cody. And Cub's, in my opinion, a better boxer than Cody. So, gave Cub a lot of different, or TJ a lot of different looks. And then when TJ came, a lot more people started migrating down to Southern California to be part of his camp. And then from there, all three, myself, Cub, and TJ, just created this like big boom, And then not only that, they wanted to know what I was doing strength and conditioning wise, because like I would get my ass throttled starting out by TJ and Cub, just beating my ass. It was like Big Brother stuff, but it was because they were so far advanced already in the sport. And so, and that's where you got to get uncomfortable to get better, right? I mean, if I'm in my comfortability and I'm beating these guys up, I don't really know how good I am. But when I'm going against guys that were on like a 5-fight win streak, a guy that was a previous title holder in the UFC, and I'm losing to those guys, and then I start gaining ground, it really starts to show where I'm at. And so,
request. We ordered more.
Yeah.
And I need to be in a big mix.
Yeah.
So you can have that one.
So this is the Big Mig. This is 10 ounces of filet mignon. It's kind of our F-off to McDonald's that we can make the Big Mac even better.
Oh,
so yeah, fucked up. Yeah, so mid-rare looks like, perfect. I still, I only ate this the first time. The day we kind of fucked with it. Yeah.
Today's another day. We're gonna try it.
Yeah. Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
But
this is awesome. I had this after my fight.
Yeah.
And it made all my sorrows go away. The michelada and the Big Mig will help you get over a loss.
Yeah, the funny thing is, too, is that a lot of people don't even realize that it is filet mignon. Like, it's not like your actual burger. Get a napkin. It is like, it's not actual, like, ground meat. It's a fucking prime cut of filet.
Which is delicious.
Yeah. I mean, it's an expensive burger, man. It's
so soft.
$52. Yeah, you chew right through it.
It's like, I don't know what's softer, the meat or the bun. I think the meat's softer than the bun. Right?
Yeah, no, it's so fucking good. You forget, like, just spitting out of it. You forget how fucking good it is.
Yeah.
For sure. So, I never heard the story. Like, I mean, we talked and did all that, but I didn't hear the story about how you guys fucking met. So that's all like random.
Yeah, so
it was like right before I fucking met you though.
Yeah, and then so after we all trained and we got the gym open, it wasn't even like 2 weeks after that. Cub was like, "Hey, I got a grand opening I want to do for my UFC gym close to Mesa. Can you guys come out and like sign autographs and take pictures?" And we're like, "Yeah." And then Cub was like, "Hey, dude, there's some really good cold brew out there." He's like, "Do you want the churro or the OG?" And TJ was like, "Well, which one has sugar?" He's like, "All right, I want the one with not sugar." I was like, "Which one has sugar?" And he's like, "The churro." I was like, "All right, I'll take that one."
Yeah.
But no, I mean, we got geeked off of coffee, and that's when the coffee company ended up being yours.
Right.
And then you say, "Hey, man, I want to come out and check out your guys. Do you guys have a gym?" And we're like, "Yeah, we actually just opened one."
Right.
And you came to check it out.
That's
and
when you
it
had
was
to do had the high school mats out. And
Yeah.
I was like, and then Hector, Hector was there, so he trained with you guys. Like I still just I wasn't. I can barely roll with you guys right now. So like 2 years ago, there's no way for me to be able to fucking do that. But I remember that whole situation. I remember, and I was like telling Cub to like slow down with the coffee. He had probably about 6-7 cups.
Yeah.
I was like, dude, this is fucking intense stuff. He goes, like complete just fighters. It's all right, just get out. Thank you.
So Cub's a coffee fiend like I am, and that's why it was such a good relationship. Because like you brought us to a whole new world of coffee. It was just like before, me and Cub would just drink like 3 pots of coffee in a day, and just be like, hell yeah, because we were trained nonstop. We drink coffee, go train, sleep, wake up, drink coffee, go train, sleep, and then get our last session, drink coffee, train, and then sleep.
There's actually like new findings too, saying that like caffeine after you train is supposed to be really good for you. Like being able to have that drink. Like I remember reading with something that they were saying that like the caffeine helps with the recovery basically. But yeah, I know that was that was a fun time. But that whole thing, like we helped to build out, and we got the carpet in there and did all of that stuff. That was pretty cool. Awesome. To see it like, and I was like, oh shit, you guys are moving. It was like right after we just fucking did it, right?
Yeah.
And then to see it back open again and like being able to go down there because I talked to Monica and when I was at your house and seeing Sam again was nice just because he really wants to help me with my stomach and everything else too that we have. So like I'm curious to see like how all that like now that you guys have it, like where I'm going to start to be like 1, 2, 3 years down the line, and hopefully healthier then than I was when I was younger.
Yeah, and that's like a cool thing because there's always advancement of, you go to school, and for instance, for college, you go to school, right? And they try to teach you the book style, the textbook style of how to do things, the cookie-cutted way. Like, hey, this is how you do it. But now, like, it evolved so much. Now it's like, what's your social media platform look like? You're like, what? Excuse me?
Right.
Like, social media is a hobby. And they're like, no, that's a business. And then you're just like, holy shit. So different ways to promote yourself, different ways to, I'm sure like some people just come in here and they're like, man, this is awesome. You guys always have good success. It's like, dude, I work my ass off to try to find a way to socially provide content to blow my things up. Like, it's a job. Like, you have to hire someone to do that.
Yeah, when I show everybody, like, I have, 28 text messages. It's like, who knows how many fucking text messages I have right now. But also, like, I had to turn all my notifications off because it would run my battery out, which I already have a problem like keeping everything charged already.
Obviously.
Yeah, like, and then, right? And then, it's people don't understand that part of it. And then for you guys to have to do that and also create the brand around yourself and everything else too. Like that's fucking difficult because I remember right when we started talking, I started asking like, hey, well, who's doing your social stuff? And I'm like, and everybody's just like, once we started and kind of hanging out and everything, everybody just started like fucking just steamrolling.
Yeah.
Now you got your blue check mark, like. You're over 45,000 followers now and growing like super fast, and we're about 75,000. So it's cool that like in that kind of that scene from meeting you guys and seeing everything and seeing how much you guys grew and hopefully I've done some stuff too. And I'm not exactly the same, but
like helping promote. That's why, like I said, it creates a team. Because if you try to do it on your own, you're gonna fail. Like if you don't seek help and seek guidance from people that had the mistakes, and that's why I've been so good with my career is like I went and seeked out these people, and the advice they give me, I didn't say like, oh, you don't know shit, you know, like I got my own vision, like I'm gonna do it this way, like, you know, I was like, okay, let me apply their advice into my career and see how it goes off. You know, these guys have been here before. They've taken losses. They've taken the road to the hard knocks. You know, and if I could avoid that, you know, as much as possible and be successful, like better for me, right? I mean, of course you got to go through adversity and trials and errors and stuff like that. But if I could avoid those trials and errors and get to the top a lot faster, like guess what? Would you rather go a straight line or would you rather take a curvy line to get to the finish line?
No, I want A to B, man.
Right? I don't want to go to D, E, X, Y, and Z. I want to go A to B, exactly.
Yeah, so like that's crazy because I didn't know like it all happened like that fucking fast.
Yeah,
like, I didn't know it happened that fast because I thought you guys had been like hanging out for a while because you guys seem fucking like you've known each other since you were 4 years old. Like you guys are all pretty good and pretty active with each other, but I guess you gotta be when you're punching each other in the face, right? And trust somebody to do that.
I mean, honestly, we hang out with each other more than we do our own families, you know? When we're in camp, I mean, that's why it creates such a brotherhood in MMA and even like war, like guys going to war and stuff, they see the person next to them more than they see their own family, you know? They already know what they're thinking. They already know, you know, like when we go to fight, like, let's take Cub's last fight, for instance. You know, he won his 2 rounds, like, pretty decisively, right? And I seen in his eyes, like, he was ready to take his foot off the pedal a little bit just to skate through this round. And me being a training partner, I seen that. And I looked at him and I said, how can I motivate him in order to keep the fire in him? And I just reminded him what he was fighting for. You know, you're able to pick that up very fast because you're with the guy every day. You know, with probably like 10 hours a day you're with the dude. You know,
it makes him tick, and you know when he's like slowing down, all those other things. Yeah, I remember watching that fight too. Just like the sounds of those fucking just oh my god, was that part of the plan also too?
I mean he wanted to rip the body and what we call get his and get out. Like go get your combination off and then get out of there. Like don't give him time to set off, you know. And so that was pretty much our game plan with Patricio, but unfortunately we weren't able to have them in my corner to remind me of that. But future coming up, it's gonna, you know, we got to make sure we do our diligence and making sure we're able to accommodate that, you know.
Well, so. Now you see too, like possible, like plan B, plan C, just in case, like different scenarios, and start looking at those things to try to keep yourself to the best fucking advantage that you have. Yeah. I remember watching the fight too, and like what was it, like 2 minutes left, and I just hear you screaming out loud, and it was so funny because I'm sitting there watching, and you're watching everybody, and I know your voice and everything. You're like, "Stay disciplined, motherfucker!" Yeah. Like out loud, like so funny. It was so funny that you screamed that out, and then to top it all off, they missed the beat, like the pause or whatever, and they so you hear you say it clearly on fucking ESPN, to say like out loud, and then dead silence because they fucked up by having that pause. Yeah. You know, they didn't get it, they didn't catch it in time. Yeah. And then dead silence after, so it almost made it even more apparent that you were fucking screaming at it. But that was one of those things. It's like you guys on top of each other, you know. So like, dude, like let's go. Yeah. You know, because you could see like because he does kind of leaves his fucking like he doesn't leave anything in the gas tank. Oh no! And it's all out there.
It's like pedal to the metal right away.
God,
like, if he was a race car, he would probably die of gas right away, or be the first to cause an accident because it's just pedal to the metal nonstop. Yeah. And I don't care who's in my way.
Yeah, I'm gonna go. Yeah, it's just like, oh my god, I still can't imagine getting hit by Cub like that, and him like kind of walking through it and being okay.
Yeah.
I mean, that's a testament to Crown, for sure. Yeah. But being able to walk through that, and he's young. He's young. He's just now got into it too, right? Like so, he's had a couple fights, and now this is his learning lesson too as well. You know, because you were on you had what was it, 19 wins in a row?
18 5 wins.
18 5 wins. Fuck. Yeah. Yeah, that was crazy. And now you get another 18.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully more. We're gonna try to get that 2-0, you know, but. Right. Yeah, it's just crazy because, like, we all have the same personalities. We're all in, you know. We're TJ, myself, and Cub. Like, when we decide to go, we're just like, no one's holding us back. You know, you could try to tell them like, hey, like you should release. Like even there's times like Cub's like, hey, dude, you should like slow, and you're just like, oh, I'm going. You know, we tell Cub like, hey, you should slow. He was like, dude, don't tell me what to do right now. And TJ, dude, he's just like, he see. I don't even think he sees anything when he's just constantly in a red light, like, oh, like holy shit, dude. You're like, there's no brake pedal in your system at all.
No. So. That's what's kind of cool to see, and like it was like the monkey see, monkey do thing, you know, and like. You know, being around that stuff, being around you guys, and being able to see what you guys do and what you fight for and how you live, and you know, all of that stuff is a true inspiration. You know, so thank you for letting me be a part of that, and you know, part of the journeys to come and everything. And thanks for coming down here and showing support. Eating good food. Hopefully, it was good.
So when someone orders a well done steak, tomahawk, whatever, and you bring it out rare, how do you char it so it's well done?
Right. Well. Normally we just we're not going to do that, but you know, like at first when we first opened up, I would tell everybody like this is the way to optimal. Like at this point now too, I've learned now that there's no right or wrong way to eat it. There's just your way that you want to.
Right.
You know, and if it's going to make you happy, fine, whatever. But we start breaking it down. But I'll take it off that flamethrower.
And you just fucking burn it. Bah!
Sure, there you go. Fuck off. You know? But yeah, it's definitely and there's actually a fucking meme about me with the
flamethrower.
With the
Hell
flamethrower. Yeah, so it was kind of funny. You know, it's in a city of Downey, but
hell yeah,
I kind of made it, I guess.
Hell yeah.
But yeah, man, no. Again, thanks so much for everything and coming down here and showing support, you know, and being so generous and nice to my kids and everything else too. So always a pleasure, man.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Love you, brother.
Love you too, dude. And
you guys, you want to
tell you guys, if you haven't tried LKSD, you need to come eat this food here. It is phenomenal. I'm going to show you one last bite of how delicious this Big Mig is.
Get all.
I told you.
All of it.
The meat is softer than the bun. It's insane.
So JArch MMA, at JArch MMA. Go follow him. Click down below. Click subscribe. We're going to be having everybody out a little bit more, talk a little bit more, get a little bit to know about it because we're going to have those documentary things too as well. So just stay tuned. We'll have it all in the bio. We'll click again, say subscribe, hit subscribe. Please, it just means so much to all of us. You guys have a good night.
If you don't subscribe, I'm coming after you.
Peace out, guys.